Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I'm Jay, also known as Mr. Muslim. Just wanted to come and speak to you for a moment. There's a few things that I like to read through. I like to read the, I guess you might call them famous quotes, famous sayings from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So many words of wisdom within these quotes. I just wanted to share a couple of them with you. There's so many of them, and I like, and on a somewhat regular basis, I like to go through and read some of the quotes and from the great prophet to and just see what ones maybe apply to me personally, as far as maybe some experiences that I've had in my life, and possibly, inshallah, finding goals throughout the prophet's quotes and sayings. I can find things for myself to say that's something I want to work on to become better at. But here we go. Where did it go? I'm looking through my phone here. Bear with me. Okay. So I picked out three of my favorite that have kind of stood out for Mr. Muslim on a personal level. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says, "The most excellent jihad is the conquest of oneself." Absolutely. The most excellent jihad is the conquest of oneself. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemy, whether it's in mentally, just making bad decisions in life, poor decisions, being arrogant, hard-headed, stubborn. But yeah, the conquest of oneself. And what I take away really from this quote, the most excellent jihad is the conquest of oneself. I think the ultimate conquest is finally, especially if you wanted to believe and you've thought about believing in Allah being the one and only creator of everything, submitting your will, completely letting go and submitting your will to Allah and embracing Islam, I think that's the biggest conquest of oneself, in my personal opinion. Let's move on to the next one. The next quote from Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. "Happy is the man who avoids hardship, but how fine is the man who is afflicted and shows endurance." This personally, I take this one pretty close to heart. Happy is the man who avoids hardship. Sure, absolutely. Any of us, all of us, would love to avoid any type of hardship in life, whether it's financially, relationship-wise, any types of hardship or conflicts, if you will. But how fine is the man who is afflicted and shows endurance. For Mr. Muslim, for me personally, with the illness that undiagnosed mystery illness still, that I deal with, this gives me hope. This gives me motivation. This particular quote from the Prophet gives me motivation, especially the second part. But how fine is the man who is afflicted and shows endurance. And looking at it in the big picture, the grand scheme of things, showing endurance, sometimes it gets very hard, and I can't do it by myself. There's times when many of us, there's things we cannot do by ourselves. And what I mean is to have the love and support of friends, families, and brothers and sisters like you. That's what helps the afflicted show endurance, having that strength and that support system. That's why that one hits home to me personally. The last one I'll share with you that I like. Closer to the last day, time will pass by faster and faster. A year will feel like a month like a week like a day, and a day like an hour. Absolutely. I feel that is 100% true. As we get older, time sure does start to fly. It sure does seems like just quickly. Days go by, weeks go by, months go by. Before you know it, it's the end of your calendar year, and you look back and you think, wow, I went through this entire year, and you start to try to reflect on what the year was like. Did you accomplish some of your personal goals that you had set for yourself? How did things go for you? How did your life go for yourself, for your family, friends? So I would offer, excuse me, one small piece of advice to young people. I noticed when I hit about 30 years old is when time really started to, it seemed like it really slipped away from me. Working, going to work all the time, socializing, which we didn't do much of anyway, but having children, especially having children. When you have your children, I'll share a piece of advice that was given to me when I was expecting to be a father, when Mrs. Muslim was going to have our first child, our son Andrew. A guy I work with told me, he said, enjoy your children, spend as much time with them as you can while they're little, because they're not little very long. And that was one of the most wisest pieces of advice I've ever received. And that's why it's one of my favorites to pass on. When your children are young, and even when you're young yourself, just spend as much time as you can just being involved, learning, embracing things. I have made a short video previously called Slow Down. Just take in as much of life as you possibly can. On a certain proper moral and, ethical level, of course. So anyway, these were just some of the comments, quotes, I keep saying comments, quotes from the great Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. I just wanted to share with my brothers and sisters. As always, we appreciate your love and support. Apologize for stumbling over my words. Mr. Muslim's not feeling the greatest, as usual. But I wanted to share these quotes with you. Thank you again. And I believe that is it. Taking a look at my phone. Yeah, that's all I have to say for this evening. So, with that being said, we love you, and JazakAllah Khair.